Today I am revamping my dust collection setup. Hey guys, how's it going? For the last couple years I've been woodworking. I've been using my old garage sale shop vac as my main dust collector, which in the past worked just fine for me. However, back in the beginning of the year I was glancing at the Busy Bee Tools website and noticed that the CraftX 1 horsepower dust collector was on sale for about half price, so I figured, why not? Christmas gift to myself. When it shipped over, I spent a couple hours the next day putting it together and getting it hooked up. Kind of. Since I knew it had a 4-inch inlet, I knew I needed to upgrade the attachment point in my saw, so I cut the outlet in my saw a little bit bigger with my jigsaw. This would be better with a hole saw, but I destroyed mine. To keep the dust contained to the saw and not all over the floor of my shop, I had built this box into the base of my saw in my installing dust collection on a Contractor table saw video. If you missed that video, you can check it out up here. With the outlet expanded, I stuck the sticky-backed 4-inch duct transition on it and screwed it down to secure it in place. Then I can run a line of this flexible aluminum duct between the saw and dust collector. I should have grabbed a right angle thing to put on here. Then I could have just gone, but I didn't, so I can't. I know corrugated material adversely affects airflow, but for this short of distance I'm not too concerned. And really, this setup did work, however it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. So I went back to Busy Bee to pick up some dust collection hookups and started over completely. Back on the table saw, I pulled back the tape, took out the front panel of the dust collection bin, and cleaned out the sawdust that was in there. This way I could get a decent look at what was going on. Then I lined up the new dust port I picked up into the rough center of the collection bin, traced it out, and with my jigsaw I cut out the bottom of the collection bin. In my previous setup, most of the dust collected in the center of the collection bin and was really only pulled into the shop vac once the mound got to a certain height. Now I'm moving the dust inlet directly underneath the blade, so hopefully more sawdust gets pulled directly into the collector. Before I fasten the dust port into place, I attached a 90-degree bend into it and tape it into place with some foil tape, which I later went back and screwed it in place since the tape let go and it had fallen off. Then I just had to drop it in place and screw it down to secure it. There we go. This also made my previous dust port useless, and since it was a sticky back, I couldn't really get it back off without damaging it, so I said screw it, and just left it there and taped over it with some foil tape. Since I was upgrading the connection point, I figured it was best to upgrade the majority of the line, so I grabbed a 4-foot section of rigid ducting and connected that to the 90.
There we go.
Eventually. I want to be able to use this as my primary dust collector for my bigger tools, and since now it's going to be a little bit of a pain to disconnect and reconnect to the table saw anytime I want to hook up another tool, I'm installing this T section and some shut-off baffles. This way I'll have a quick connect anytime I want to use my planer without having to disconnect the saw. And then I'm reusing this flexible duct to connect the rest of the line to the dust collector. Again, I'm not concerned about this length of corrugated material. Unfortunately, this dust collection hose didn't want to play nice with the ducting, so I picked up another elbow piece to give me a little bit more room, cut up the inlet so it was a little easier to fold inside the dust collector hose, and taped the dust collector hose in place. This setup lasted about 2 weeks, and I still haven't fixed that properly. I think the hose was just too cold and inflexible back in February when I was doing this, and would probably be better now, but I'll figure something else out at a later time. And with this last bit of ducting done, I can reinstall the front panel of the collection bin and retape the body of the saw back together to keep the dust in place. Then I figured I could give the dust collection a bit of a test, so I cut a random dado into a random piece of pallet wood, basically just to make sawdust. It's still collecting in the saw a little bit, but I think that's more to do how I have the bottom of the collection bin rather than the dust collector itself. So overall, I'm happy with this setup. Between the table saw and the planer, I think I have the 2 biggest dust-causing machines taken care of, and my shop vac now lives over at my other workbench to service the couple benchtop tools I have over there, which works well for me. Something I might upgrade later on is to replace the baffles I have in there with actual blast gates, but for now the baffles I installed work just fine. And with that, I'm going to call it a video. So, thank you all for watching, and if you like what I'm doing here, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. If you have any questions or comments, I look forward to reading them in the comment section below, and if you want to see more up-to-date projects, you can follow me on Instagram at John the Schreiner. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next video, and have a good one.